My name is Brian Vayo. I am the director of the Indian Arts Research Center at the School for Advanced Research, and I'm from Acoma Pueblo here in New Mexico.
Brian, if you could just briefly explain your definition of home.
Okay, so my definition of home would be it's a place when I can make a connection to home in Acoma. It's kind of going back to a time because Acoma is so rooted in such a rich history. I often will reflect on a certain point in time that I'm familiar with, that I'm informed of through traditional storytelling. So even in this time, when I go back to Acoma, I know that I'm reconnecting myself to a tremendous history and to a place that is sacred. It's embracing, and it's very spiritual. And all of those things combined make it a very powerful place. And it also then generates an energy. And it's what's really beautiful about it is, for any indigenous community, I'm sure we all feel this way, is, reconnecting with the place, but also the people, family, community, extended family. That energy is just so profound, and so making that connection every time I go home is very special.
Can you talk a little bit about how your definition of home fits into your life here in Santa Fe?
Sure. One of the things that I really like about Santa Fe is that, I'm close to the mountain. This place in Acoma is called Hashuku, which means kind of the corner of the east, and that's the literal translation. And so the mountain range, the Sangre de Cristos, and the original inhabitants of this area, some are now the contemporary Tewa Pueblos, the Middle Rio Grande Pueblos, and as far west as Hopi. So this area has been occupied for a very long time, and there's a tremendous amount of history and culture rooted again in an indigenous knowledge system. And so I have a connection here, and in that way, in that I know there is a spiritual force here. There is culture, both in a historic context, but also in a contemporary context, in that Santa Fe is such a melting pot in its own way, melting pot like a pottery, in that it's, there are many cultures represented here. The arts are strong, and the outdoors, it's, everything, the environment, it all meshes well together, and it creates its own kind of spirit that's very similar to that in Acoma.